Hi, it's Carolyn, the contest queen, and tonight I'm going to answer all the sweepstakes questions I missed when I interviewed Ken Carlos. They were coming in so fast and furious, we completely ran out of time, and I have here 3 sheets of questions. There were so many questions that we didn't get a chance to answer that I'm going to answer them tonight. Now, if you ask me a question in the comments, I'm not going to get to it till after I answer all of these because there were so many. But Ken and I had so much fun that, that interview was fantastic. So if you haven't seen it yet, go to my YouTube channel or my Facebook page and watch it. And if you hadn't seen it, Ken generously gave me a coupon code to give out for the whole month of December. Holy cow! 20% off the Sweepstakes Plus subscription, and you just use the code Contest Queen, all one word, and you get 20% off. And once you watch the interview, you'll understand why subscribing is such a good value. Now, let's get to some of these fantastic questions. First, we had Janice. Now, there's no rhyme or reason, by the way, to the order of these. I just pulled them off in the order that they were either emailed to me, because some people emailed me offline, or were posted in the comments on that video. So Janice says, I appreciate everything you do for us to enjoy contesting. Thank you. I'd like to know if the rules say use a number 10 white envelope and you decorate it, is your entry disqualified? I would say it wouldn't be disqualified, but I know that some people feel nowadays that the undecorated envelopes win more. So I don't actually decorate my envelopes when I send them in. I just send them, because a lot of times they don't even pull the envelopes anymore. They just open the envelope, they take the entry, and they key it in with all the other online entries. Or they're sending you back a code of some kind. So decorating it won't even matter. There's nothing wrong with putting a sticker or two on it if you're feeling happy, like sticking it on the back where the envelope seals, sending out a little good luck and juju out into the universe. But I don't think decorating it is as necessarily a tactic that would win now, because things have changed since the days where it was just, thousands of envelopes in, mail bags. Brandy Ann says, I have a question. If you enter a sweepstakes with multiple items and you win one that you can't use, is it better to gift it, or is it okay to sell it if they don't exchange it? Thank you. Sometimes you're the bridesmaid, not the bride, right? You win a secondary prize when you're entering for the grand prize. And, the secondary prize, it's nice, but it wasn't what you were hoping for. You can do either, whatever you want with it. I have gifted items. I have just shared items. I have sold items if that wasn't going to work out at all. But I always find it always finds a home. No prize goes to waste in this house. So feel free to do any of that. Once the prize is yours, you can do with it what you wish. Just make sure. One of the things that people do is they save all those prizes for the Christmas time. Especially if you think that it would make a fantastic gift for somebody, it really saves your pocketbook at the end of the year. Sina says, my question is around short essays. What keywords are they looking for that makes them more likely to choose you? It depends on the rules. So most essay contests that I see now are secondary to the main contest. So for example, it requires a purchase. Everybody that swipes their loyalty card at our grocery store is in to win. But if you want to enter without a purchase of these products, send an essay to, and it's random draw. So it doesn't matter. You just make something up that sounds good and flatters the sponsor. If it's judged, then you'd want to go and look at some of their advertising and see some of their promotions and see what they're doing to see what would appeal to them. Maybe go see what they say on their website, look at some of their previous ad campaigns and things like that to come up with something that you think would win an essay contest. I would mostly write from your heart too, because that tends to get picked in a judged contest. So I wouldn't say keywords so much as to sentiment or matching their sponsor's core values. I hope that helps. Good luck in the essay contest. Joanne wants to know, once you've submitted your info for sweepstakes, how quickly do you go ahead and unsubscribe from the newsletters? If you unsubscribe right away, does it lessen your chances of winning? Coincidentally, Tom Cavalli of I Win Contest was just answering this question on both TikTok and Instagram. And he doesn't subscribe. If he doesn't have to subscribe, he doesn't. If you get 5 extra entries for subscribing, happens all the time. He goes and unsubscribes fairly quickly. He keeps his inbox to a minimum. Unless it happens to be a sponsor that he really likes the products that he's consistently using them, or both they have frequent giveaways. And if he knows the sponsor also has exclusive giveaways for subscribers. I subscribe to some of those myself. So we both do the same thing. So just, unsubscribe and then we both recommend doing unsubscribe blitzes. Actually, January is a good month to do it because there's a huge flux of sweepstakes in December. In January, they drop off a bit. And so you might have a little extra time. And then every day you can subscribe from 5, 10, or 20 sweepstakes in your inbox and kind of get it a little more manageable for 2023. It's kind of a good New Year's resolution. NK says, I've always wanted to sign up for more radio giveaways. Oh yeah, this is a long question. It's a story and a question altogether. And it's good because it's important. But whenever I see them use a phrase like sign up below and then listen to see if you're a winner, I think, well, what if I sign up and then I'm busy when they announce the winner? I know that every radio station has different rules, so I don't expect your answer to apply to each station. But what do you do generally in this case? Do radio stations announce winners on the air and then contact them later if they don't call in when their name's announced? Or is it more of a snooze you lose? If it's a second option, I think that's just so awful. It seems like they would only benefit stay-at-home moms and perhaps retired people. Hardly anyone's going to be able to listen to the radio at work. What do you find is generally the case? It is more the case if you snooze, you lose. So let me outline the various types of radio contests and how you can do that. So the first kind was the famous cue to call in. You hear it, 7th caller through, 10th caller through, 25th caller through, whatever. You dial and you hope you're the right caller. That's the easy radio contest. Then they started shifting to a lot of, we call it a keyword. You text it to a certain number, and then if they call you back, you either win or qualify for a bigger prize. Depends on the contest that they're holding. So you can instantly win if they call you back, or you've qualified for a large prize. Or sometimes it's both. You'll win a small prize and then you're in for the grand prize. We've had some radio stations also doing, we call you back and you get to play a game. There's one happening in my area right now with a Christmas tree. You shake the Christmas tree, a prize falls out. You decide if you want to keep it or shake the tree again. So they can call you back, you could play, and you could try and win. Then there's the third kind, which you qualify. Exactly what you said. You sign up on their website and they call out names at certain times of the day. You have 10 minutes. One had 5 minutes? I think 7 minutes and 9 or 10 minutes. It's usually the 10 minutes. You have to call back within 10 minutes and you win. Or you can play. I did once where they called my name and I had to call in within 5 minutes to play a game. If I didn't call back, they would either draw somebody else, or they go to the 25th caller, or they or they don't do anything, or they go back to the previous person. So there's one where you're on, they call it payroll payout. You're on their payroll, then they call it the next name. If the next name doesn't call in, they call you back, you stay on the payroll. So some people have racked up quite a lot of money doing that because nobody calls in. Now, to solve that, I do two things. One, I set alarms on my phone for 5 minutes before they're supposed to call out a name, because sometimes they do it a little early, or the cue to call in, or whatever it is, or code word that I'm listening for to text in. I have alarms on my phone for 5 minutes. And sometimes, like in the fall, when everybody's doing giveaways, my phone is going off literally every hour. And I put the radio station name as the alarm name, so I know which stations I'm supposed to listen to. And sometimes it's 2 and 3 at a time. So sometimes I'll have it streaming on my phone, streaming on the radio, streaming on my computer. And I'll be listening to three things at once. I've had George come to the office door, and I'm like, no, I'm listening. You got 5, go away 5 minutes. I need to listen. Because it's really hard to have your ear in several places at once. Also, I have a contest buddy that I've teamed up with in town, and her and I both listen. And sometimes, I'm going to be at the gym at 10 o'clock. I'm like, hey, I'm going to the yoga class. I can't listen at 10 o'clock. Can you listen? And I'll take the phone and I'll put it on silent, but I'll have it screen up. So if she phones me or something, I can run out of the room and go win money or tickets or whatever the prize is. So having a contest buddy is really good for that. Also, if you join, I know Tom Cavalli's site has a Discord group in it. And in the Discord group, there's a feed or a thread, whatever you call it, that is all for radio code words. And everybody there helps each other out. But I believe that's nationwide. I don't know how local it gets. So you can try that. But don't forget the radio stations, where I also win a lot from the radio stations, is the radio station websites actually have giveaways on them that you just fill out a form and send it in, or some of them have social media giveaways. There's a couple of stations where I live. One does like a Monday selfie on Facebook and Twitter. Another couple of stations do Instagram. I think there's 3 stations that I know of that do Instagram giveaways. So you watch their feed on Instagram, and it's only on Instagram. They don't announce it on their website. They don't announce it on the radio. You just have to be following them on social to catch the giveaway. So there's another way to win radio contests. It's not actually on the radio. So I hope that answers that question, but there's a lot of ways to win from the radio. Okay, so Julie asks, what's the differences between, she says, my sweepstakes advantage, and I win. So she wants to know her sweepstakes and sweepstakes advantage. So my sweepstakes is a way to get organized in sweepstakes advantage. Okay. Now I don't use sweepstakes advantage because it doesn't have a lot of sweepstakes that I'm eligible for. So I don't use that site. However, being organized is one of the main keys to winning giveaways. Okay. It's probably the number one thing I see people not doing. And I know this because I think this is my 4th year of giving away a one-on-one masterclass with me. By the way, if you want to win, the contest is still going on right now. Just check my website. And every month I'm giving it away. So if you're watching this video later, go check my website because I'm probably hosting the contest again. And I think all but one person in 4 years was disorganized. If you don't know when you can enter, how often you can enter, and when to go back, you're not maximizing your entries, which therefore decreases your odds of winning. So some of the features of some of these sweepstakes aggregates, and it's not just Sweepstakes Advantage. I think Sweeps Atlas has it. Contest Girl has it. Other ones probably have it, and I'm not familiar with all their features. They allow you to save the sweepstakes that you want to come back to on a daily, weekly basis. and enter, and it helps keep you organized. Now, I happen to prefer to organize all my sweepstakes in RoboForm. I outline that whole process in my book, and I actually teach it in a RoboForm class because it's really a visual software. So it's much easier to master when you see it in person and, do it on repeat, and then you get the hang of it. But if you're not techie at all, these sites are fantastic because you're able to select what you want to have, and then you can just go into my sweepstakes and they're all there. That's why you pay for the bonus areas. Now, Tom's focus is different. And this is why a lot of people subscribe to both Sweepstakes Advantage and iWin, or, Sweepstakes Today and Sweeps Sheet. They'll have two of them. One, a newsletter-based format with, some online components, and then an actual, what I would label a full-on aggregate. Because sites like Sweepsheet and iWin began as newsletters that eventually just evolved to being online. So they're all now kind of lumped into the same thing. But back in the day, they used to mail them out. Actually, I don't think Tom ever mailed his out. I think his were just emails. But Sweepsheet, I think, is coming up on its 35th anniversary. I'll be interviewing them in January. And they've had a lot of changes over the years. And they used to be straight up mail it out. Like they would mail them out to you. And now everything's digital, and they have a website and they have forums. Everything's changed. Okay. So any site that has a organizational component, I highly recommend it, especially if you don't have an organization system. It's going to maximize your odds of winning. Oh, I did leave out. Okay, so iWin, his feature, the reason his site is different is Tom has less sweepstakes, but his preference is to share sweepstakes that he feels have the best odds of winning. So anything with high prizes, like, we're giving away 30,000, gift baskets or something or whatever, or we're giving away 10 cruises to the Caribbean. So anything he thinks, all my followers have a really good chance to win, that's what she shares. And that's the nice thing, is that you're not limited to one. You can have more than one sweepstakes aggregate. Corrine wanted to know if they could try the premium features free for a month on Sweepstakes Advantage. I don't think you can, but it's not expensive. And I believe there's a 3-month trial. You can purchase 3 months. I know iWin has 3 months. I'm pretty sure I saw Sweepstakes Advantage has 3 months. Just try it out. It's not expensive, and it supports them because it's not free for them to run the website. And so you're ensuring that it continues, and they're able to pay the software developers to keep upgrading the site to make sure that it's, good for all the users. And she also asked, how many hours do I have to dedicate to contests to win? Now, I'm going to answer that because Sarah asked, how many contests do you personally enter each day on average? So I don't count how many I enter. I enter for time, not amount. I just try and get them all done. I spend an hour. This is December, so I've been spending an hour, probably closer to 2 every day entering. I want to get back to that even in the regular year because I just love it. And that's when you win a lot. When you're putting in the effort to win, it shows. It shows. Consistency is key. I explain it to people like this. You want to get fit. You don't go to the gym once and go, why can't I lift weights like Arnold Schwarzenegger? You don't start on a healthy eating program and expect to lose 50 pounds overnight. You know that it's consistency over time will yield you results. It's the exact same thing with sweepstakes. Consistency over time yields results. And sometimes some people spend longer and sometimes people spend shorter. It's one of the reasons I like to organize my sweepstakes into instance and ones that have a daily prize, especially during the Christmas season. There are, 12 days of giveaways. So they have a prize each day. So you have to go enter each day. So that I put in the top priority. That's the first thing I'm going to enter. The second thing I enter, or what I call my top 10, even though there's more than 10. And that's the big prizes, the cash, the cars, the cruises, all the big prizes that you're looking for. Now, those, you can make your top 10 whatever you want. So if your priority, for example, is to redo your kitchen, organize your sweepstakes for that. So you might call it My New Kitchen. And every giveaway that you find for gift cards, appliances, renovations, anything that could fit into that kitchen category, you put into that folder and make sure you enter those every day. So if you don't get a chance to enter anything else, you're focusing on your key sweepstakes. And then I have one called dailies, and that's just the ones I go back to every day. And then I have my weeklies, which is the ones that I can only enter once a week, and all my local places that I go and check. So all my radio station websites, television websites, local businesses that I know hold frequent giveaways, I go to all those pages, and that's where I find other ones to enter that I wouldn't find on other social media. Okay, Lizette wanted to know, is Sweepstakes Advantage geared towards Canadian or US sweeps? It's mainly US sweeps. So if you are Canadian, Lizette, so in Canada, the big ones are Red Flag Deals Forum. They have a contest forum, Contest Girl, contestcanada.net, contestcanada.com is coming back. And then other sites have Canadian components, like you can do a search for Canadian contests on Sweepstakes Advantage, but because it's not their main focus, they're not going to have as many. I have a feeling I'm missing one in Canada. But and then in Quebec, there's 3 websites just for Quebec sweepstakes. I have them on my site, like Quebec Concours, for example. And then in the US, there's so many. There's Sweepstakes Fanatics. There's Sweepstakes. There's Sweeping America. Some of the other ones I haven't talked about. Sweepstakes Bible. Win Prizes Online. Yo Winner. There's so many of them that you can check out. Sweeps Atlas. Poke around. I have a list on resources on my site, and I tell people, go poke around and find the format you like, because when you find a format you like, that's when you're going to win. Spencer said, for new and existing or with the code, he wanted to know if that discount code that Ken generously gave out was for new or existing members. It's for everybody. So if you want to add onto your subscription with a code, please do. Now, Sarah wants to know, how much time should there be between tagging people on IG contests to avoid getting shadow banned? So I kept my phone out, and I want to show you at the speed that I enter so that you can get a sense of this. So I'm just going to go. I got tagged in this one. This is my personal account. So I'm going to follow the company. I'm going to like them. Let me just scan the rules real quick. Like this post and tag 3 dinner guests. Now, they didn't ask me to like it, but I always like the post that I enter, because if I've liked it, then I know I've entered. So if I come across it on my feed again. So it says tag 3 people. So I'm going to tag 3 people. And you can see how fast that happens. And I think it depends on your internet speed and your typing speed. And then ones that pop up. So here we go. There's 3. Let me see if I can find one that's like, the list of giveaways. Let me see. Is this one of the ones? Yeah, so this one's more tags, more entries. So I'll just show you. So I like it. I've got to follow them. So I tap the one and follow, go back, tag, follow, go back. Also, make sure it does not say sponsored up here, because those entries don't end up in the draw pool. And I only know this because I do the draws. Somebody asked that question later on, and I will talk more So it says tag 2 people. So you tag 2 of your friends, and I have a standard list of friends that I tag for every giveaway. So I've memorized all their handles because it's only a few people. So it makes it easy. And you can see the speed I'm going. I never get into Instagram jail. I think I've been in like 1 or 2 times. I also find I'm doing this on my phone right now. I'm going a little slower than I normally would because I'm also talking and paying attention to 2 things at once. And then I find if I'm entering at the same speed as I normally do and on my computer will come up and say, hey, don't enter, like you're kind of blocked from entering. But if I go and enter at the same speed on my phone, that's not a problem. And then it says bonus, share and story and tag us 5 initial entries. So if you want to know what the stories is, it's the little thing that looks like an airplane, and you post a story and then you tag. So you hit the text and you tag the person, TM, and they usually pop up. And then I hit done. And sometimes I use the little effects to make it snow or something, especially now at Christmas time. I just think it's a little fun to add something. It doesn't actually affect the entry. I just think it's kind of fun. And so that's about the speed that I go. Like I said, I only tag 5 to 10 people per giveaway, and that's it. And like I said, I have less trouble entering on my phone. You have to remember that Instagram was designed as a mobile app and that it's a little chunkier on the computer. A lot of times also you can't see messages on the computer. Plus, I've noticed that I don't see sponsored ads. Like, for example, I just want to show you guys this. Okay, so here's a 12 days of giveaways, for example, that says sponsored there. I would not see this on my feed in the computer, so I might miss out on a giveaway if I didn't use my phone. It's another reason Instagram is better on your phone. If you need something a little bit bigger, use your tablet. So I have an iPad too, but I just tend to use my phone, and I tend to enter my Instagram giveaways when we're watching TV. So we'll put a movie on and I'll just sit there with my phone and scroll and tag and watch the movie and drink my cup of tea and just enjoy myself. And it's a great way to get your entries in while doing something else. Okay, I hope that answered her question, because it's tough when you get shadow banned. And yeah, so there are some people, she also wanted to know how many tags I do. So I do 5 to 10. And the reason is because there's so many Instagram giveaways that I feel that I'm better off entering a few in a lot than one with a lot, right? I'd rather spread my eggs over many baskets. And if I'm going to win, I'm going to win. That's how I feel towards Instagram. You may have a different strategy. I know some people that only enter Instagram giveaways and do very well at it. It all depends on what your focus is. Michelle wants to know, have you ever won any type of vehicle? A car would be a jackpot win for me. Yep, me too. A bicycle, technically a vehicle, because you can get around on it. I want a scooter, like not the electric kind, the kind that you just hold and, move your feet. Yeah, how many bicycles? Why am I thinking it's 2 bikes? I think I've won 2 bikes. It's been a while since I won a bicycle. And 1 scooter. I've never won a boat, a car, a motorcycle, anything like that. How are you notified? This is a good one from Debbie. How are you notified on TikTok if you've won a prize? I just won a TikTok giveaway. Now, there's 2 types of TikTok giveaways. One where you have to create content, use a filter, and tag the sponsor. Actually, no, I won 2. I won both types. So one, I had to use the sponsor's filter, and I did a little video, and then I got a DM from them. And then I got another one where I had to follow the sponsor, which I already did, like the post, comment, tag a sweepstakes friend. So I do have a very small circle of like 5 people I can tag on Instagram. And then, so I've tagged them. And then I won one of the kids' Alexas. The ones, I don't know if anybody's seen them yet. They're new. This one looks like a little owl. It is so cute. And it comes with a kid's subscription, which is kind of fun. So that's going to be a great Christmas gift this year. And then I won Toronto Maple Leaf tickets by using the Toronto Maple Leaf filter and showing how big a hockey fan we are. Now, if you didn't know, behind these dividers, we have, my office is decked out in the Toronto Maple Leafs because when I moved in, it was all in the living room and I didn't want to live in a man cave. So we put it in the office and then it turned out to be terrible for filming. But it can help me win a contest or two, because when the sponsor sees that you really are a fan, because I say I get to work every day in my office, they're like, she really is a fan, because the walls are Toronto Maple Leaf blue. It's the actual official blue that we bought at Home Depot. So yeah, you're notified exactly like you are on Instagram. And so you can find your, so again, just like any other platform, you must check your notifications and your messages every day. Now, Robbie says, is it worth it to contact a company if you haven't received your prize in a timely manner? Yes, absolutely yes. Chase them. And I will be blogging about this because this actually made the news. Somebody won a trip from a big beer company using a PIN code. And I was even entering that contest. I remember the contest because I had entered some of those PIN codes that I found when I was code hunting. And she won one of the trips and it still hasn't been fulfilled. They have been bouncing her around the company and it has now made the evening news. So I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be fulfilled now because it looks really bad. But I would just keep escalating it. Like at this point, I would be talking to the vice president of marketing for the beer company going, what is going on? Beth Ann. Oh yeah. So this is another one. There's another one that I'll be blogging about. I have a list of blog posts that I'm going to write because there's all kinds of topics. Do you feel that the IG influencers are fair in their drawings? I feel I win large corporations. I feel I win with the large corporations that have marketing companies that take care of the drawings. Yes. I agree that they might not always be fair, and I'll tell you why. I haven't finished this blog post yet, but I asked everybody to vote for me because one of our local radio stations did a shameless self-promotion. And what you did was you got to take over the radio station for the day, and you had a billboard in the city. And I, of course, shared it, and it went everywhere. And Monday morning, they called me at like 7:10 or whatever. It wasn't on the radio. It was just the DJs talking to me off air going, how did you get so many votes? And I go, I just have a lot of friends. And of course, they Googled my name because I didn't enter as a contest queen. I entered as Carolyn. And of course, all my contest queen stuff came up. And so they announced the winner with a fair number of votes. Was a woman who owned a dog shelter. And I knew that I had way more votes than she did, but the optics are really poor. I'm aware of it, so I'm not surprised and I'm not upset, but I just know that that's what happens sometimes. And I know that's why I haven't won some prizes. It's why I finally, after years of winning as on my business accounts, I finally said, okay, I have to separate and have personal accounts and business accounts. So if you notice for the last, 2 years, I've not entered any giveaways on my personal accounts. I just promote giveaways for companies or business accounts rather. And then I only enter on my personal accounts. So, and I knew that it was the right thing because as soon as I did that, I started winning again on the social media. I'm like, So that's why I tell people. So one of my tips is to post random stuff. Like seriously, post random stuff. So I'll be walking along and I'll see something weird in somebody's garden. Like I was going pin code hunting once and someone had all these weird Halloween masks in their garden. Like they were like little bits of decor. It was so strange. And it wasn't on Halloween. It was just like in the middle of July. But they've done this like weird garden. And I'm like, that's gold. So I take a picture of it and I post it on my Instagram. I see some pretty flowers. I take a picture of them. I bake some cookies. I take a picture of them. You know, I find something cute. I take a picture of it. I just post stuff in between the contest entries. And I have a plainish handle that doesn't look sweepy. I have a headshot in there so they see it's a real person. So I don't have like a cartoon or anything. They like real people. And I filled out the bio, real things about me. I'm a mom of one. I love yoga. I go walking as much as I can. I like to garden. I like to read. I like to bake. I love movies. I put all that kind of stuff in there, movie lover. So they get a sense of a real person and they like giving prizes to real people. And so that's what I recommend for that. I have all this in my book, by the way, if you don't remember it, or you're going to get the next one. So that's what I say. So that's how you could make yourself more likable and also have a public account. I tried to do a drawing once and we forgot to say no private accounts. It was so difficult to reach the people to give them out a prize. It took me days. And a lot of times you gotta answer to the sponsor. You can't be waiting 14 days to get them a report on who won. It's not good. So please have public accounts if you're entering sweepstakes. If you so I have people say, well, I have all my kids on there. I don't want their kids' pictures. So set up another account just for entering sweepstakes then. So have one for private for family and have one just for entering sweepstakes. Like make 2 Instagram accounts then if you want to keep one private. And I totally get it, because if you don't want to put your kids out there, or you have pictures that you don't feel comfortable sharing because of whatever reason, then yeah, have two separate accounts. It's just like having a separate email just for entering sweepstakes. It's the same. Okay, so Julie says, do you think there's a way for individuals to cheat at sweepstakes and contests? I see people winning several big sweeps each week, including money that seems unreal. So I'm going to answer that in 2 ways. Unfortunately, because sweepstakes involves money in that sense, there's always going to be people that cheat. Years ago, I don't know, maybe it was 2016, 2017, maybe even 2015. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Or not that long time ago, but there was a family in Quebec that was caught cheating to the point where one of the sponsors was going to award the guy a Porsche and took it back because he had created a bot that would enter over and over and over again. And the Montreal Gazette did a 5-part expose on this family that I translated into English and posted on my website. I think it's called Do Cheaters Ever Win or something. If you go in my search bar and type in the word cheaters, you can read the whole saga. It's crazy. I don't think they're entering anymore because sweepstakes has changed a lot since then. It's harder to do the bot thing. A lot of them need CAPTCHAs. A lot of them you play games. A lot of them you make selections. It's a lot has moved to social. It's just not the same. It's impossible to hack the system the same. But if there's a way to cheat, yeah, sometimes people have multiple accounts and entering on Instagram. Here's my thought on that. I barely have time to enter the 5 or 10 people on one that I have. I cannot do that for like 6 accounts. Who has that time? And you're entering for something that's what, $100? Is that really worth your time? No. I figure the karma will get back to those people at some time, because that's karma doesn't come and go around as people do. It's their intention. And if their intention is to cheat, it's going to come back to them. I'm reading Florence Scovel-Shinn right now. Fascinating book. It's called The Game of Life and How to Play It. Very similar to Helene's title. Of course, Florence was, like 50 years before Helene. And basically whatever you're putting out is what's going to come back. She has a whole section on that. It's a great book. I bought a double edition, and it was on sale. I think I got it for like 99 cents on my Kindle. It's fantastic. I highly recommend reading books on either an app or a Kindle because you get them so inexpensively, and then you always have something to read with you. Okay, so Tina wants to know if companies pay social media sites to host a giveaway. Yes and no. So if I wanted to go and host a Facebook giveaway right now, I can just put a picture up of my prize and, have the rules and hit go. Costs nothing. Now, Facebook isn't going to show that to a lot of people. So they're going to hit me up to boost the post and say, hey, we can reach this many more people if you boost the post. I don't boost posts because I don't find I get the traction. But a lot of people pay for Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, and depending on the contest. So say, for example, I've worked, I think it's been 5 or 6 years now. I've worked with Doritos in Canada on their social media campaigns, and I do their drawings. So they're not paying, Facebook or Instagram for the giveaway, but they're paying for the prize. They're paying for the agency to run the giveaway. They're paying for WooBox because that's the program we use to do the random drawings and do all the analytics for the giveaway. They have to pay the people that design all the graphics and social things for the giveaway. They have to pay. So there's all that component, but they're not actually paying Facebook to put up an ad. So you could, if you wanted to host a Facebook giveaway tomorrow, you could do it. You don't pay for anything to do that. Yvonne wanted to know when's the next convention and where. It is July 6 to 9 in Scottsdale, Arizona. I already have my ticket. I've already got the hotel room booked. I'm waiting till next year to book the airfare because it's actually better for me to book it in the spring. I'm very excited. And I'm going to be there with bells on. Well, not bells, but I'm probably going to be decked out in all my Canadian gear again. It was so fun. Susan's coming with me. Any other Canadians want to come? You're welcome. Just hit me up. And you can, and they're still taking registrations. It's still open. So there's still room for people to come. It hasn't sold out. Rochelle wants to know, how can we diplomatically and tactfully respond to critics, skeptics, and cynics? That being an avid sweeper contester is a humongous waste of time, ambitious, and wishful thinking. Okay. So just ignore them. This is the exact reason I made the Good Vibration Sweepstakes Club Facebook group, because people are so sick of the negativity. If they win something or they are having a dry spell and they want some fairy dust, or they just want some inspiration, they come to that group and they can post and everybody cheers. And it's so fun for that. Just ignore the haters. They usually come around. I had this with my husband. When I first started entering his hobby, he thought I was wasting my time. Took, I don't know how long before the first decent prizes came. I remember winning some movie passes and small things to start. And then I think that's when I won there was a package. It came with a snowboard, the scooter, and a bicycle. And it was worth, I think it was like $1,200 or $1,500. It was really, like, the bicycle was high end. I think the bicycle was $900 out of that. It was a really good prize pack. And then he was like, oh, maybe there's something to this. And then it was like, well, what about this? And then we won our first trip. Well, that was it, right? After you go on a free trip, this hobby's on. Hey, have you seen this giveaway? Have you seen that giveaway? Are we in this one? Are we winning that? And I had the same thing with George. I started dating him, and I said to the universe, I need someone that can handle this contest crazy. And we were dating for about 3 weeks, and he said, so when are you going to start winning me stuff? I'm like, all right. So our whole first date was sitting in my office, entering sweepstakes, sitting there with a glass of wine. Don't sweep and drink. Or don't drink and sweep, rather. So I set them up an email address just for entering, and it was about a year, and we were winning tickets to all kinds of things. We were always on a date here and a date there and doing this, and things would show up and free t-shirt that. And so it was still some decent prizes were coming in. But then I'd get up every morning and go pin code hunting, and he'd be like, it's kind of a waste of time. You got to focus on work. And I'm like, look, I got to exercise. So I can I could pay the gym, and I can go walk on a treadmill for an hour, or I can go outside, get fresh air, and possibly have a chance to win. And it doesn't cost me anything. So I'm going to take that option for the summer. And then by the end of the summer, I won a trip with 40 Universal Studios, and he really didn't believe that we'd won it. And then it was like, hey, then the next summer, if I was sleeping in and I was like, oh, I didn't feel like going walking, I'd get a poke. Hey, get up. Aren't you going to go pin code hunting? You're go in. Make sure you get those prizes. It's funny how it flips. There was one story. Someone told me this. I can't remember who told me this years ago. I never printed it in my book, but she was harangued by her boyfriend, and he was always going on about what a waste of time. And she got a call one day, and he was taunting her. He's like, oh, what did you win? Another stupid baseball cap? I never want anything to do with these prizes because this is the stupidest hobby. And she goes, oh, well, that's good because I just won a Mustang, so you'll never drive it. She won a car. And he was like, what? Yeah. It's amazing when the biggies show up and they're like, yeah, the tunes change when they show up. So don't worry about them. You just have your little contest fun. Enjoy the hobby. Enjoy the prizes yourself. And don't worry about other people. Rachel wants to know, if you won $1 million, would you stop entering sweepstakes? Well, Ken doesn't enter sweepstakes at the moment. They just run the website. So I don't think he would stop actually the site, because unfortunately $1 million isn't as much money as it used to be. When people used to, back in the day, if people became a millionaire, they could live like a king for the rest of their life. Where I live, that might buy me a house, and that's it. Like, there's nothing else. There's no car. There's no trips. That might not even be all that I need. I still might need a mortgage on top of that. It's gotten a little crazy. So no, I wouldn't stop entering sweepstakes, but it would give me some wonderful breathing room. Okay, that's the end of page 2. Okay, so we're on the last page, and then I'll go through the feed and answer questions. Oh my goodness. Just an hour by myself answering the questions we missed during an hour live stream. How crazy is this? Lindy said, is there a lifetime membership or is it annual? I'll have to look at their feed, but I believe he just has like a 3-month, a 6-month, and an annual. Why? I think somebody has a lifetime membership, but now I can't remember which aggregate it is. Tina wants to know, do Facebook giveaways actually give away the prizes? Yes, because I have won those Facebook giveaways. One of my favorites was I won a weekend getaway for 2 to a town 2 hours from here called Kingston, Ontario. We got to stay at a bed and breakfast, and we got a tour to Thousand Islands. It's a chain of islands in the St. Lawrence River. And we had a gift certificate for a local restaurant for dinner. And they also had jazz music that night. It was amazing. And then there's a lot of historic stuff there. There's a Fort Henry, which we built to protect us from the Americans in case of invasion. Okay, like, I don't know, like 18 something or 17 something it was built. I don't know. It's very funny to think of the Americans invading us. Anyway, we were worried, so we have a fort there because the St. Lawrence River narrows, and we can practically see America, and we were worried about them invading, so we were protecting ourselves. So that was a fun giveaway on Facebook that I won. And my daughter and I went midweek in the summer while she was off school, and we saw a lot of historic stuff. It was fun. It's good to teach kids history in real time. Do companies contact Sweepstakes Advantage to have their giveaways posted on his network? Absolutely. That was from Chrissy. Absolutely. I get contacted by companies all the time to share giveaways. I know all of the aggregates do, not just Sweepstakes Advantage. It's one of the ways that companies get them out. Now, some aggregates will share for free, and some of them have paid components. They'll share for free, but if you want like a special exclusive newsletter, or you want a boost, or you want to be top of page, or you want a feature, they charge for that, because again, it also helps mitigate the cost, because they're paying for web hosting, they're paying for tech support, they're paying for their email server, they're paying for, all that stuff costs money. So if they can get paid by these companies that provide the sweepstakes to feature to help mitigate that, then yeah, I think it's great. Bonnie, do you enter more than one email in a contest? Not my email, but so for example, there's a giveaway and it's a trip to somewhere, and I think, oh, George and I would love that trip. So if it's one entry per person, I will enter me and I will enter him. And that's it. I follow the rules. So I don't have more than one email. Well, I have lots of emails for work and whatnot, but I only use one email for entering sweepstakes. That's the only one I use. I also use it for all subscriptions so that everything funnels into one place. Paige says, if you don't have a lot of time, which would you suggest, daily or single entry? Single entry, because it's once and forget it. And everybody has even odds. But there's usually not as many singles. It depends. Like Instagram kind of are singles because you're entering just on the one post. So I focus on single entries if I have a little bit of time. Shema says she wanted to know what Ken's favorite thing was that he ever won. They used to enter sweepstakes, which is kind of how they got into having Sweepstakes Advantage. So I don't know what his favorite thing is. I'll have to have them back and ask. However, mine is, I have three answers. One is that we went to Harry Potter in England for the weekend. We went to the set and had we're at a party, and that was so much fun. What'd you do this weekend? Oh, I went to London. And then my second favorite prize was going to the Vancouver Winter Olympics. That was amazing. That was a trip for 4. And we saw Canada take silver in the men's speed skating, I think 1500. That was really cool to see us, him skate around with our flag over his shoulders and everybody's cheering, and it was really cool. And then the last one is I got to meet Sting and Michael Bublé. So I love prizes that just wouldn't happen in my everyday life. And the last question is Jason. Actually, this is an appropriate last question. Jason wants to know, where do you think sweepstakes are headed in 2023? I think you are going to see, I think it's more social sweeps and more creative sweeps, or more video sweeps. I think Instagram's really pushing Reels. TikTok is killing it. I think you're going to see more companies trying to take advantage of those platforms. So I think that's what we're going to see in 2023. Okay, so now let me go through the feed and see what questions got put in here. Okay, let's see. Oh, thank you. Somebody went and checked for me. Sister Lister Smeg says 3 months is $20. Thank you. If you can do that. Do you have to pay taxes? I just did a video on this today on TikTok. Someone says, I'm afraid of the taxes. So here's the thing. First of all, don't worry about the taxes. Win it first. So as Evelyn Ryan from the prize winner of Defiance, Ohio says, that's a problem for another day. So win it first and then worry about the taxes. Second of all, read the rules when you're entering. So for example, if some will have a cash option. Trips tend not to. They tend to really want you to go on the trip. However, a lot of trips have spending money with them. So you could use that money to pay the taxes and then maybe save on the trip by maybe not eating out as much, like, travel smart, have breakfast in the hotel room, take breakfast bars with you and have a coffee in the room and save the breakfast money. And then, do that on your vacation. You win a car, you could sell the car, pay the taxes, keep the difference. Or if you need a new car, you might be able to go to the bank, get a loan to pay the taxes. It's going to be far less than buying a new car. So you're actually better off paying the taxes than a car payment. You're always going to be better off with the money or the prize than you would have paying the taxes. And also depends on your tax bracket. If you're in a lower income bracket, you're going to pay less tax than something. And also you only get a form 1099 miscellaneous. Let's get that right. After $600. So if you win a smallish prize, say $1,000 TV, the amount of tax you're going to pay on $1,000 TV isn't going to be the same as if you won a $50,000 car. So enter, don't worry about the taxes. And then, and you can also write things off against your contest hobby. This is where I'm not a tax expert. These are just things I've heard and been told. You really need to check with your accountant because I'm not a tax expert. But I've been told you can write off things that you use for your hobby. So you might be able to write off some of your internet, your computer, things like that. Okay. Yes, IG is better on your phone, but oh my goodness, my eyes hurt after a while. Yeah, I agree. These are my computer reading glasses. And then I have regular single vision, like distance and reading. So yeah, I get it. After a while, I'll be sitting there with my glasses off, holding my phone up like this because my eyes hurt too. Okay, so Kathy says those filters confuse me. Yeah, I don't know if I can show here. It's kind of hard with a phone on the screen. But let me see if I can dim it enough to show you. Okay. So the filters on TikTok, random TikTok. Okay, so you have to go plus sign. So you get, now I know I'm showing the screen. So see it says effects there. You tap it and then you can get, like googly eyes. I wonder if I don't even know how to show this. Yeah, it's impossible. I can't do that. You use those filters and then film. And a lot of times the filters are found off the app, or in Instagram, if you hit plus and then a reel, okay, you're going to see like effects. And down here, there's filters. Like there was one, we had I just started a video. Discard. So there's an effect there, right? And if I did that, I don't know if I can do next. Yeah, I see. There's the filter. It put it on. So you can just do, it's all called effects. They're not called filters. That might be the confusing part. I'm going to discard this now. Okay, so I hope that helped. It was kind of hard to do that. I do teach a class called How to Win on Social Media, and I go through everything step by step on the screen because I do it in Zoom and I'm allowed to share my screen, and it makes it so much easier to share these things. And also because I'm not live streaming like I am in here, it's easier to do some of the weird why does a person get put in Instagram jail? Because you've entered too many times too quickly. And then sometimes it could be like a day. Sometimes I've known people that got in Instagram jail for a month. And at Christmas time, that just kills your hobby. And then it's terrible. Is your book on tape or CD? No. Actually, I'm looking to do, so my sweepstakes book, there's a lot of visual step by step. And so it's not really conducive to an Audible book. But I do teach workshops. So it's kind of the in-person version. Plus, then you can ask me questions and I answer them on the spot. I'm looking to get Helene's books done on Audible, but that's either at the rate I'm going right now, it's going to be a 2024 project. But if I can get some other sales, then it might be a 2023 project. Okay. Oh, somebody said, tweet and Insta your prizes one. That should quiet the haters. Actually, it brings out more haters sometimes because they're like, you're so lucky. You always win. Yeah, no, you actually get more stink eye sometimes. That's that's the other reason I created the group, so people could post their wins and get cheered instead of booed. Same for me. My family was installed until I started winning fun stuff they like, right? And then they're like, oh, this is not so bad. Maybe I should start entering. And Bonnie says, I need to find a man like that. You know what? You can't. Put it out to the universe. Here's what I did. I put it out to the universe. I need someone that can handle this crazy. And I got someone that can handle the crazy. Some days he just shakes his. So when I won the trip, so I entered in the Super Bowl contest because booking.com this year was giving away 100 trips. And I'm like, I'm winning me one of those. And so for hours, I was furiously entering during the Super Bowl. And the next day I hadn't won. And I was like, oh, I really thought I was going to win. And then the next morning early, I got the notification and I thought, I knew it. And so I got it. I was in bed. I was looking on my phone and I got out of bed and he'd already been drinking his coffee in his easy chair. And I went, we're going to Mexico. And he just looked at me and went, just shook his head at me like, of course we are. Of course we are. Like when he took me away for the first, we've been dating like 6 months and he booked us a trip and we went to Puerto Plata in Dominican, nice all-inclusive romantic getaway. It was so fun. And then I said, I'll get the next trip. And then I won us a trip for 40 Universal Studios. And he goes, but you didn't pay for that trip. I go, no, I didn't say I was going to pay for a trip. I said I was going to get us the next trip. So I've won us 2 now and he's taken us away 3 times. So I'm down 1. I got to win another trip. Actually, I would love to win another one by the end of the year. That would be a goal. And it's sometimes fun to have these goals, right? You're like, oh, I want to win this. I want to win that. And it just feels good. And you're having fun trying and you're talking with your friends and right. You just put it out there. Okay. I live in. Oh yeah. Lister says, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. $1 million wouldn't get you an outhouse. I know that. My aunt and uncle used to live in Concord, actually Clayton, but nobody knows where Clayton is. And, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You couldn't buy a house for $1 million. It's funny. It's because it depends on where you live. Then you could take that money and you can buy a castle in other places. Ooh, someone's had a 2-year drought. Georgette, I've had a 2-year drought. New email, new social medias. Do you have any thought? You know what? That's not necessarily a bad idea. You might want to experiment. I would start with new social media. And have your old ones there because if you've already entered, you don't want to miss any notifications or anything. But start fresh, new picture, new handle, new everything. Actually, start with the email because you'll need the email address to set up the social media. So come up with a new email, something easy to type, and use Gmail. I use Yahoo. George uses Gmail. Both, we don't miss notifications with those. And something easy. Start fresh. That might block the drought. A clean slate. Oh, this is funny. My high school teacher said she would not be able to spend $1 million in our lifetime. Yeah. Oh, wow. Someone said, I've been to the Thousand Islands back in high school at my friend's parents' house they rented. Yeah, it's kind of fun to win. Even, so I consider that a trip win because I didn't sleep at home, even though I had to drive just 2 hours away. So anywhere that I am, that I'm not at home, Like, I'm spending the night away. We're eating out in restaurants, even though it's only 2 hours from our house. That is a trip win. And the strangest place we went a trip to was Rimouski, Quebec for the Memorial Cup. And it is in the middle of nowhere. Like, we flew to Quebec City and then hopped on another little plane. And then on the way back, something happened and they couldn't get us on the plane. So they put us all in buses and drove us 3 hours to Quebec City to get on a plane to come home. It was so, yeah. So, this is it. Do you ever get calls from Gleam sweeps that later disqualify sweepers? No. And how would they know you're a sweeper? I don't know. Because some of them, they set them up so they want you to enter 100 different things. Oh, Riley's in a horrible mood and a health crisis. And I still want to win. Any tips? It's tough to win when your energy is really low. And I know this to be true because I went through a very dark night with a divorce and we went bankrupt and I nearly lost my business, like literally in 2013. I'm amazed that Contest Queen as a business, because I also do marketing consulting, made it through 2013. Like, I really thought I was going to have to literally shut my doors, not sell any more books, not do any of this anymore. And it's tough. And I not hardly win because that energy is not there. I would just say to the universe, hey, I'm having this kind of crappy time right now. I need something to lift my spirits. Show me some grace and send me a win or a few wins just to kind of, get me up. Helene says in her books that your guardian angels are just a thought away. My husband's not a sweeper, but he supports me. Oh, I met Cynthia at the Sweepstakes convention. So fun. That's the other thing that they don't tell you about this hobby is that you can make real friends from this hobby. Oh my goodness. Congratulations, Amber. I've already won 2 of 12 days of giveaways. One on Facebook, one on Instagram. Bravo. I haven't won any yet. After this live stream, guess what I'm going to go do? I'm going to go to the living room, sit with my laptop and enter. Yeah, so here's what's really interesting. So Georgette says, if it's less than $6, you won't need to pay taxes. So legally, you're supposed to declare all your winnings. You will only get a Form 1099 miscellaneous for any prize over $600. I'm not a tax expert. That is not legal tax advice. Is there Twitter jail? There used to be. There's Facebook jail. Twitter jail is, I think, rare. And there's also Instagram jail. But there's different qualifications as to why you get into those jails. I believe Twitter jail is when you follow too many people too quickly. But Twitter is a mess right now. And I've literally seen a handful of giveaways on Twitter. Most companies have just abandoned their Twitter promotions and moved over to Instagram. I actually know of a company that posted on Twitter and said, yeah, we're not doing it here anymore. You need to go follow us on Instagram. And they moved all their Twitter giveaways, their weekly Twitter giveaways that they'd done for years, over to Instagram. They're like, yeah, we're out. Oh, Riley says she can't travel right now, but there's lots of, oh my gosh, there's so many prizes that aren't trips. Like, so many prizes that aren't trips. You could win food prizes, gift cards, electronics, you name it. Yeah, you don't have to travel. There's so many other prizes. And actually, that's one of the advantages of Sweepstakes Advantage. If you go to some of the other aggregates, you can search by prize type. and enter that. So if you only want gift cards, you can search by that. If you only want vacations, you can search for that. If you only want, cars, you can enter for that. I would love to win a trip. Any phrases they're looking for? Not anything in particular. It only if it's judged, but you have to. Oh, Amy says I recently won $100 from Pepsi. Congratulations. Yeah, and Georgette says I've made friends from sweepstaking. I know, right? The good crazy's got to stick together. Oh, and Georgia says, do you remember the Twitter parties that used to happen? Yeah, one company still was doing it this last month, but I was busy that night, so I couldn't go. But I was like, wow, a Twitter party. I haven't seen those in forever. I used to love Twitter parties. Oh my God. There was one travel company that used to have a Twitter party like every month and give away a trip. Oh my gosh, I was all over those. Never won one. Okay, so I think I've caught up to all the questions, and that's all this was tonight. Just a fun catch up. I'm going to be doing a check-in near the end of the month, so stay tuned. I'll be posting it on Facebook. I post on Facebook and YouTube about a week out, and then I send an email notification 2 days before that I'm going live, so you're aware of when I'm going live. And then, of course, it's going to pick up all my calendars full for January, February, March, and April. We're back to normal schedule. There's sweepstakes club meetings. There's all my classes, and it's going to be fun. So if you want to hang out with other sweepers, January 5th is the first meeting. So I want to win a guitar for my son. So stepping out of the 4Cs a bit. Yeah, it's fun. I finally won a guitar for George because he likes to drum. He's a drummer. He used to be a studio musician. He doesn't play the guitar, so I finally won him a guitar from Monster so he could learn how to play guitar. And yeah, Riley, get into the if you're not in the Good Vibration Sweepstakes Club yet, come over there because it's all good vibes there. That might help you too. Amber said, when's the next club meeting? It's January 5th. So if you go to my website and click on events and move the calendar forward, you'll see all the dates for everything. And then you might want to keep coming back to it or keep checking my email list or my emails because I'm going to be booking, like I know Sweep Sheet and I want to get together and have an interview, but it's not going to be till January because December's crazy. And so that's going to be exciting. And then I'm lining up some other interviews. Then, of course, I have always my monthly sweepstakes Q&A. And then sometimes I do, I won't call them really spontaneous, but I do other live streams to fill in the gaps. Like, of course, we had literally 3 pages of questions that I didn't get to, and I didn't want to leave everybody hanging. And this was the best way to come on and answer them. So there's always something going on. And yeah, I love this hobby. It's fun. I've made friends. I love teaching others how to win. It's just the best. Oh, she just joined the club half an hour ago. She says, yeah, actually, she says, hang on. I shouldn't just be reading it. I should put it up. I just joined the club half an hour ago. We're on the same wavelength. Maybe my vibration is raising. Yes. And also my favorite author and mentor, Robert Ohotto, did a whole course on intentional synchronicity. And I think on his YouTube, you can go watch a sample video of it. He's brilliant. I'm biased. And yeah, that's synchronicity right there. That's absolutely synchronistic. Okay, so I'm going to sign off. Feel free to send me. I have questions at contestqueen.com. I'm just going to type it in here. And then I'll answer them on another video. I think I've got you all there. And thanks a lot. And don't get burnt out. Just pace yourself during sweepstakes season. Good luck. And also email me or tag me when you win. I love cheering people on. Bye.